Good afternoon. Welcome back to Terry's Kitchen, where we're going to talk food, faith, and family. I just want to thank you all for all the wonderful comments from the other day when we had our first video of the chicken pot pie. Everyone had some great suggestions of what we should do moving forward. They liked it. So thank you so much for that. And we're working on that. So today we're going to be, I had promised a gentleman, our son-in-law, which we consider him our son, Chris, is on a bowling league. And I was talking to one of the team members, and he mentioned about cinnamon buns. And I said, well, I make cinnamon buns. So I have been lax on getting those to him. So I'm going to make him some cinnamon buns. And when you make cinnamon buns, it makes a lot. So that's what we're going to do today. I would like to start out with a scripture. This morning I woke up in the early hours just a little restless, so I went to my Bible and I was reading through Revelation. And the other day when we were talking, I was talking that around food there is so much fellowship around that, around the table. So as I was reading, this scripture popped out to me, and lo and behold, I was looking on Facebook later on, and that same verse popped up. So to me, as nothing happens by chance, so I thought I would like to share that with you all today. And it's Revelation 3:20. Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me. So I thought, you know, that's fellowship. And our Heavenly Father wants to fellowship with us. So thank you for letting me share that. I'll put this over here. And I'm going to wash my hands. And we'll get started. So, as I said, we're making cinnamon buns. So, to kind of speed along today's video, I thought I would go ahead, and I've already prepared the dough. And at another time, another video, I will show you how I made the actual dough. But let me just read the ingredients. So, to get our dough started, there's 2 packages of yeast, dry yeast, a tablespoon of sugar, half a cup of butter, it says tablespoon of salt, but I made that mistake one time. I used the tablespoon, and I also used salted butter. Well, they were too salty for my taste, so I've dropped that down to a teaspoon of salt. 7 cups of flour, 1 cup warm water, 1 cup scalding milk, a half a cup of sugar, and 4 eggs well beaten. So that was made earlier. It's been rising for probably the last 2 hours. It has doubled in size. And what we need to do, we need to punch it down. And then you can see that it just drops down in size. Now I've already cleaned my work surface, and I'm going to sprinkle some flour. So what we'll be doing now that the dough, the initial dough has risen, we've dropped it down, I'm going to bring it on here, and I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to cut it in half, because it actually will make 2 rolls, and it'll actually fill up 2 jelly roll pans of cinnamon buns. And because if he wants to share them, I'm not going to make them very big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our first half on the surface here. I'm going to put a little here. And do you see my flour sifter? And you heard me talk the other day about TT. TT used a flour sifter like this. And I told you when I originally started making pies, I was not really that great at it, but I found a little sifter like this at an antique shop, and doggone it, as soon as I got the sifter, my pies improved. So I love this little thing. It looks like it's been through wear and tear, because it has, but it's just wonderful, and I use it, as you can see, it's in my flour container all the time. So, okay, so I have my rolling pin here. I probably got a lot of flour here, but we're gonna just pull some of that off, because when I roll it out, I don't want it to stick to the counter. And we're gonna roll it in an oblong shape, because I have more counter this way. Gonna go that way with dough. And actually, I'll confess, bread dough, making bread has always intimidated me. Now, you let me make a pie and I'm all over that. But when it comes to bread dough, I've always been a little shy with it. But the key, I think, with bread or making your cinnamon buns is actually in the yeast, making sure you have your the right warmth of temperature for your water, for your yeast to work appropriately. Okay, so that's about how I'm going to start. So I did not melt my butter, so I'm going to pause just one moment. We're back. The butter is melted. I have 2 sticks of butter that I've melted. That is a lot, but with we're going to use for the first one, probably 1 stick of that, and then for the other we'll use the other. And anything that's left over, you always keep, and it'll congeal back. So our dough is rolled out to the size that I'm wanting. So we're going to brush butter. Now I'm, in the kitchen. I sometimes take a little shortcut, and I can work that around. I'm using the brush. I believe, you had your hands first, and that could be a lot of times another utensil that you use in the kitchen. So you're going to find me using my hands a lot. And that it just to work that butter around. If you want to use a brush, if this kind of is not your thing to use your fingers, that's okay. Make the kitchen, make your cooking, your baking, what works best for you. So I do use real butter. I do use salted butter. A lot of recipes say unsalted, but for me, I don't see a big difference. I prefer the salted, except when your recipes call for a lot of salt. You may need to judge that and alternate that. So run that butter all the way to the edges. And because, as I mentioned, I use my fingers, I have about 3 cups of brown sugar. This may be too much for both dough, but I just wanted to have enough and not have to go to my other container. So this is 3 cups of brown sugar. So you have your layer of melted butter, and then you're just going to sprinkle brown sugar over that. I like gooey, so I don't really skimp on the brown sugar. I will definitely add it because I think that's going to make that nice juicy cinnamon bun. Now you can use raisins after you've placed your cinnamon. You can use raisins. Because I'm making them for somebody else, I usually do a tray of plain without raisins and then another tray with. Some of us like raisins and some of us do not. So trying to meet everybody's taste palette. Okay, so that's moved around, and I'm going to just kind of work that in. Now, I am no professional when it comes to cooking. Again, I love it, and so I just get in the kitchen and have fun. And I hope that's what you will do as well, is just have fun with it. Don't be intimidated by it. somebody said that they're not a very good cook. They posted that they're not a very good cook. Well, you know, we all start somewhere. So, because I'm still using, you can use a spoon if you want, or a shaker, but this is cinnamon, and I just sprinkle that around because I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is nice and healthy for you too, so I like lots of cinnamon. So just sprinkle it around to whatever your desired consistency would be. I don't know this, you know, this gentleman. I know the gentleman, but as far as taste and that kind of thing. So he may not be a big fan of cinnamon, but if he wants cinnamon buns, this is what he's getting today. So we've got all of our layers of our good contents. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the longest edge here, and we're just going to start rolling. And again, I do have a lot of flour on my surface. I just didn't want it for our dough to get sticky to the counter. I made these a little thin. Like I said, I'm trying to make a lot, kind of get this to stretch. So, but that's okay. And I got a little trick, because I've gotten better at making these. And I got a little trick for the edges, when the edges look like they don't have a lot of the good stuff. So I'll show you what I do. So what I have the oven preheating at 375. But what we're going to need to do before we put that in, these are going to have to rise again. So it may take a half an hour, 45 minutes. I turned the oven on to just get a little bit of heat in the kitchen to kind of help with that rising. So we'll put them on our tray here. So we'll just kind of tighten that up there. So there is our roll, and now we'll begin slicing. Now to our jelly roll pan here, I have greased it really good. So, and I've also put a sheet of parchment paper down. I like, when I'm baking, I like parchment paper because it seems like it really browns the bottom of whatever you're cooking really well. So I've used multiple things as far as to cut the cinnamon buns, the dough, but this I've used non-wax floss, I've used thread, I've used a knife, I've used multiple things to try to get a nice cut, but this serrated knife works wonderful, and it's my new cinnamon bun dough cutter. So we're going to come here to our first edge, probably, you know, not quite an inch or a little less, but you see this kind of looks kind of messy. We're going to save him in a minute, and I'm going to do a little tweaking to that. So you're just going to come and start cutting, bring that around, kind of tuck it around to the edge so that that open seam is tucked in next to the other bun. Because some of that good stuff. Now Ron is behind the scenes making sure that our video goes along well, and can you see the buns, Ron?
Yes, I can see the buns.
Good. Very good.
And I would like to say that I love Terry's buns.
Well, okay, then maybe Ron. So he was watching bloopers a while ago, and I think he just had his own blooper there. So I'm going to try to get 5 of them across, but as we go to the center of the dough, it gets bigger. We have watching our daughter's and son-in-law's dog, Harley, and I think Harley ran upstairs and is hearing some noise upstairs, or the neighbor or something. So I hope everybody's having a good day. It certainly was a pretty day. If you were able to get out and enjoy some of it, If not, you know, I'm understanding there's going to be plenty of time where there's going to be next week, they're saying, or what I heard, thought we were going to have some pretty good weather. So you're getting the barking dogs. They love to let us know if anybody's coming, if anybody's next door, walking down the street.
She is our 8-pound watchdog.
That's right, along with Sadie, our corgi. So
That's a little more poundage with the corgi.
yeah. So they're coming along here. I'm not sure if I'm going to need the whole tray. I may spread them out a little bit more here for those ones that are smaller. So I'm going to, after we get this section done, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to complete the other one, and then I'm going to let them rise. I'll bake them, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come back online and do another video because, you know, not only is a cinnamon bun good with itself, but I love it with some icing on it. So I'm going to make some buttercream icing. Now, Harley, that's enough. So with buttercream icing, and I'll have that prepared as well. So when we bring them out of the oven, we're going to let them cool a little bit. And then from there, I'll come back online and we'll ice them and let you see what the finished product looks like. And the only thing about doing this virtually, you know, you cannot taste it and smell the wonderful aromas, but I trust that these videos, that you will learn how to make your own, and you will enjoy cooking as much as I do. So I do have a couple extra, so I'm going to tighten those up. I had made a tray of these about maybe a month ago, and I have some people that I keep tabs on and check on, and my uncles, and so I called them buns on the run. So I dropped a couple buns off to a couple of our family and friends that are shut-ins, and so that they can enjoy them as well. So these last two pieces, you see, there's really, I don't want to waste that dough, and there's not a lot of good stuff on there, so I'm going to make some good stuff, and we're going to roll it right in there. Because we do not want to waste any of the good stuff we have here. If you took the time to make the dough and are going to make the cinnamon buns, make sure you just use it all. And just coat that with the butter. We're going to add a little bit of brown sugar, and I'll clean up my counter before I roll out the other section. A little on there. And a little bit of cinnamon. And I must say, with some of the comments, I've had some requests for my niece, Casey. She said, I want, why don't you do your dressing balls and your turkey gravy? Do a video of that, because we do dressing balls at Thanksgiving. And Kathy, a friend of mine, she said a blueberry pie. So, and then somebody else said my coconut cake. And those that know me, I make a fresh coconut cake, but I hate making that coconut cake. So when we make it that day, you'll see what it's a little labor intensive, and you'll see why I'm not a big fan, but everybody loves it. So because they love it, I want to fix it for them. Okay, so let me get a paper towel. So that's our first tray that we're going to cover with a tea towel and let it double in size. They'll expand, and just like they did when I made the dough. So I'm going to sit them over here on the top of the oven. I'm going to turn it off. Then I'll bake these, and so we'll come back, and with them coming out of they'll be out of the oven. I will have had the buttercream icing fixed. I'll talk to you about how I made that, and we'll have a future video. I'll show you how I made the icing, and then we'll go ahead and ice a tray of these. So see you shortly. Welcome to Terry's Kitchen, and welcome back, where we talk food, faith, and family. So today we have made our cinnamon buns. They have just come out of the oven. I've let them cool maybe about 10 minutes. And I've also made my buttercream frosting. And we could do a glaze. I wanted to cool them a little bit, so when I go to put the buttercream frosting, they may glaze, but I want a little bit of that icing. If you want to rush that and just make completely glaze, then you don't have to really cool them, and then they'll just kind of glaze down. But I like having icing on my cinnamon buns. We ended up making 53 buns, and I think the team member for bowling is going to be pleased with the buns. So let's get to icing our cinnamon buns. So I'm going to do this tray first, and they browned nicely. We had them in a 375 oven for 20 minutes. I did one tray at a time, and the second tray that I did offline, while this first tray was rising, I completed the others. So I, again, baked just one tray at a time. So we're just going to go and individually just ice each one of them. I like getting down into the sides and the crevices, because homemade cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, how I've done them, they have a tendency sometimes to get kind of hard on the edges. So that's why I like coming down with the icing. It kind of seals in some of that moisture. Again, if you choose to have more of a glaze, you can thin down your frosting. You can apply the frosting while they're hot, and again, there'll be more of a glaze than an icing. So I just go to each one. I took a knife before we came back online and actually kind of cut them and split them, so when they dip them up, they won't get part of somebody else's buns. So today, I just can't tell you how much I'm enjoying coming and cooking and again, showing you my love of cooking. I hope that you will try some of these recipes. We are, as we said earlier in the first video, we're going to talk about how best to, whether it's YouTube channel, TikTok, making my own cooking page, or just how we're going to do some videos moving forward, how we're going to share the recipes. So, more to come. Again, this is day 2 of doing this, and again, I told Ron after we got offline the last earlier today, I said, I really enjoy doing this. I thought maybe I would be scared in front of a video, but I'm not. And I just like to talk and ramble and talk about, all the good things in life and around cooking and family, and also faith. So if you decide to make the cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, whichever you prefer to call, if you have children, bring them into the kitchen. That's where kids learn. That's where, a lot of my memories come from as a child, and then also as an adult, having those memories of going in the kitchen. And so what if you have flour and sugar all over your kitchen floor? It doesn't matter. The key thing is building, confidence in children, that they learn how to cook, have fun, and they'll carry those memories along. Make them, clean the dishes. Just because they're cooking doesn't mean that they shouldn't be doing the dishes too. Now, that didn't go for our household here, because bless Ron's heart, when we first got married, he wanted I started waiting on him because that's kind of what I learned to do growing up. You know, the man was the head of the household, and you're going to you wait on him.
He's still the head.
So I started, you know, say, Ron, you just sit there, I'll take care of it. Well, thank the Lord that he said, no, 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 no. This is going to be an equal marriage. If you cook, I'll clean. I think he may have regretted making that decision years ago, but he still goes and does it. So we have a pretty good system. So if you have a significant other and you're cooking and they clean, or you know your children, make it a family event. Just don't leave one person in that kitchen to do all the work, the cooking and the cleaning. I just strongly believe that, you know, as you know, working together makes quick work, and it doesn't make it where all of them are, it's only one person.
I have a wonderful reference to that. There's a movie called The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. John Wayne comes to propose or ask her brother's permission to marry her, and the brother he won't do it. And something, I forget, I think he spits on the floor or something. And Maureen O'Hara throws down the towel and says, until you clean that up, there won't be another meal served in this house. And there's a servant, one of the farmhands, sitting there, and he jumps on the floor immediately and starts cleaning up. So if you feed me, I will clean up. And that's a perfect example.
That is true. We watch The Quiet Man over and over. We love it. We love old movies. Not so much what's here coming out lately, because we both I think have I am getting up there in age, and Ron's not aging, but I am. But I do like older movies, and certainly simpler times, I think. So, and you can see that I have cooled these, and they're more of a thick icing. These others are a little warmer, and I'll ice a few so you can kind of see that, and then I can let you go for the night, because we're almost done here in the kitchen. I'm going to go share these with this gentleman, and hopefully he may share with the rest of us. So look at that. Beautiful. And the aroma here in the kitchen is wonderful. And just because you're not here doesn't mean if you go to make them yourself that you're not going to have a wonderful aroma as well. So these are warmer, and you're going to see them kind of melt more into all those nice grooves. And I don't know if I told you, as I'm rattling here, it did make 53 buns. I did tell you that, but so I counted them. Always like, if I've accomplished a cooking session or cooking for the day, it's quite an accomplishment looking across the counter and see what you have made. And with your own hands, the help of, you know, cookbooks and memories, and it just, I cannot tell you, truly, it's so much joy it brings. And more than anything, and I think I shared at the first video, I love to feed people, and I'd love to feed all the viewers, but I don't think I can do that, and I have retired, so I may not be able to do that, but I love when people enjoy the food that I have prepared. And if you eat a second plate at my house, boy, that's just like kissing the cook. That is wonderful. Well, I'm just going to finish these and keep rattling if you all are okay with that. If not, just hit the I'm done button. But I hope not. I hope you enjoy this. And like I said, certainly the comments, if you have a comment, share it. And I didn't share the other earlier today. Sherry was the first one that shared the video. And she says, well, I want meatloaf. So one day we're going to do meatloaf. And I think one day we're going to do meatballs and lasagna. And potato salad, and if you all want to hang with me, I think we're going to do this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'd love to hear if you try any of the recipes, and I think it's, like I said, it's great joy for me too. So you can kind of see the difference. I kind of like the way these are looking because they were a little warmer. I was waiting for the other pan, and so these got a little more frosting on them, but that's okay. It's all good. They're still going to taste good. Oh, now we're down to 52 of cinnamon buns. And Ron, so what you think?
I think I love your buns.
Oh, there he did that blooper again. So, and I'll tell you one thing, that's pretty good. So when I made my buttercream, I used a stick and a half of real butter and probably a package and a half of 10X. Added some milk and vanilla, and look, that was just the perfect amount to ice both trays of these. Get these last two, and then I think we are good. And if they meet Ron's approval, he'll tell me if he doesn't like something or it's not the best I've done. He said it's okay. Well, I know that stuff was horrible, because if he says okay, then he just told me that he was not a big fan, but he's not being rude to me by saying that was just doggone horrible, don't make it again.
Well, trust me, that is the kiss of death if I tell her it was okay.
So here we go. Here are our completed cinnamon buns. I'm going to get this one. This tray's not as hot. But thank you for coming into my kitchen today, spending the afternoon doing the 2 videos, or depending upon, it may be 3, depending upon when I had to melt my butter. So, but thank you so much for watching. Enjoy, and blessings to you.